You cannot do that. You have no authority to do that.
Give me my phone then. My phone is my personal thing. Why not?
We want to get the information. We want to get the information. I was talking to her. She told me that if I can't take my son, bring it to me.
If you have an issue, you can't surprise it. You can't
do that. You cannot come. If you want information, come to the office.
Excuse me. Hey, no, you can't take my phone.
If you want
I'm a pregnant woman.
And so what?
I am a pregnant woman.
And so what? If you want information, go to the office. If you want information, go to the office.
Don't.
If you have any information, go to the office. If you want information, have I touched you? What do you mean?
Don't try to touch me.
If you want information, go to the office. If you want
Menzgold. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Give my phone.
Come and take the office. Come and take the phone.
Come to our office.
Come and take it from the office. Come and take it from the office. Come to the office and take it.
I don't have.
Come to the office. Come
Give me my phone.
You want information? Come to the office. You, hey!
Oh, give me the phone, please. Give me the phone. Oh.
This is what I collected from you.
Send this to your people.
This is what I collected from you. If you are doing radio, me.
Right
On the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. You just heard that exchange between our own Karen Dodo, a TV3 journalist, and some employees of Menzgold at the East Legon branch of that company yesterday when Karen went there to do her job, that is to gather information. That was not the end of the story. Karen Dodo herself is with us in the studio. We will be trying to analyze exactly what happened yesterday so that we can be clear on what we are doing going forward. Good morning, Karen. Welcome.
Good morning, Daniel.
Great. But that's not all we are doing today with regards to Menzgold. We will also be speaking to the company representatives themselves to get their views on what has been happening between them and government for the past close to 6 years, if not more. My friends Raymond Akwa, Malik Abbas Dabo, and Enimwa Enim Ado are here. My name is Daniel Dazi. We're going to have quite a show today, so don't go anywhere. Let me begin with you, Karen. Now, yesterday, when you got to Menzgold East Legon, what happened?
So yesterday I got there like some minutes to 11, and I went to meet Nana Abrampa of TV3 there. So she told me she went inside and they were not willing to speak. They said the lawyers were handling the issue and that if we want any information, then we have to go to the head office. So we realized that, okay, they were not ready to speak, so then let's talk to the customers. We didn't even stand on their premises. We were meters away from their office. So we found one lady. She was telling us what had happened, but she was not ready to go on record. Told us everything. And then one customer, I can't tell if he's a customer, but he came and he was so outraged and just started talking about Joy FM and other media houses and how he says we have a mission to bring down Menzgold. So then I realized the guy was trying to be aggressive. So I told my cameraman to go to the car and then try and pipe whatever shots he's gotten so far. So he left the
scene. And by pipe, you mean try and send them
send the
to
visuals,
the studio?
Yes, yes. And these were visuals of some customers from a distance, the cars parked there, and that we did with our office camera. So he was not at the scene. So whilst I was there with Nanekia, we saw some 3 men in suits and in Menzgold tie, so we could tell they were employees of Menzgold. They walked up to us, and then the guy goes like, "You cannot do this." And we said, "Do what?" And then he says, "You cannot take shots of the building." And I told him I was not taking shots of the building with my phone. And he says, "No." So just then he hits my right shoulder. Then I lost grip of my phone and the mic. I was holding 2 phones and the microphone. He just snatches them from me. And then I go like, "They are not yours. It's my personal phone." No, this guy tells me he can't let me have the phone because he believes I have shots of the place on my phone. And I tell him that I have nothing on it, and you can't tell me to delete anything. And if you even want, you can check. I have nothing on it. He became aggressive, and I was trying to snatch the phone from him. He was also pushing me away, and I told him that it's my phone. So they even tried doing same to Nanekia. Then she told them she was pregnant, and they left her for a moment. Then all three of them were on me, and now one guy just held my hand, like firmly gripped my wrist, my left wrist, and he says, okay, if I want my phone, follow me to our office. And I'm like, no, give me my phone here. You didn't take it in the office. Give it to me here. He said, no, follow us to our office. So like for close to about 15 minutes, this guy is like holding me. We cross the street. We enter the premises. And then when I got there, I realized one of our editors, Araba Crimson, was around. So she was trying to enter, but they said, no, she shouldn't come. I'm the only one they're dealing with. Then she said, no, they should give me my phone. We all tried to get the phone from him. So that was when I realized that some customers around were actually hooting at us, saying that we, the media, were there to bring down Menzgold. And also some were telling the guy to take it easy because we were ladies. So at that moment, the guy was taken aback. So that was when I snatched my second phone from him. So then he says, okay, we still have to go and delete everything there. And I said, if you speak to us on the matter, we'll be very grateful. He says, okay, we'll speak, but first, follow us to our office. So we were going, and these guys are still on me. I realized somebody just pushes me from the back. Then one manager, a lady, she came downstairs, and she says she realized that customers were getting agitated. So she came to my rescue and took me to one of their offices. And still, these gentlemen were following me. Now, they had numbered like 6, 7. More guys had joined. And they followed me to this office, and they were making noise. We should delete the visuals, delete everything I have. And I was still insisting I had nothing. So then the manager tells them that they should stop what they are doing. She drove them away. Then she told me to calm down and apologize for everything that they did, and that they would deal with these gentlemen internally. So that's what happened at Menzgold. Later, they walked me out, and it was even still embarrassing because I was being hooted at when I was walking out of their premises.
And I heard later that you interviewed George Quay of Menzgold.
Yes, so I later went to their head office where they said they will speak now. I went to the Jolly branch. It was the same thing there. They hooted at my cameraman. They hooted at me. But we eventually got in, and then George Quay spoke to us on the whole issue.
So what you're telling us is that when you went to East Legon Menzgold, you were hit on the shoulder, your phone was seized.
Yeah, and I was gripped by the
and you were
wrist.
gripped firmly on your wrist, dragged inside.
Yeah.
At a point, Araba Kumsin, who is our editor, had to come
intervene,
in. And still, there was a lot of difficulty.
Yes, there still was some difficulty. It was like the attack was personal at Joy FM. Because the guy said several times that we have an intention to bring them down, and they will make sure they bring us down, and Menzgold is better than Joy FM, and a whole lot. And I have all that on record.
That's fine. Karen, how are you feeling after this?
I first felt embarrassed. Then I felt I wasn't safe. Because looking at how most of the customers there were just hooting at us, and I was like, okay, so if any customer here recognizes my face and then sees me later somewhere, I don't know what this customer will do to me. Because had it not been for the manager that intervened, I don't know what would have happened next. So I felt unsafe. I felt embarrassed. It was the first physical encounter I've ever had in public, and it was very embarrassing.
So these were some employees and customers of Menzgold. When you finally spoke with management, did you get any form of assurance from them? What was their posturing with you?
All they said was I should just calm down, and they would deal with it internally. As to how they'll deal with it, they didn't tell me. That's all they said. Karen
Dodo is with our business team. She with Joy Business, and she was just recounting exactly what happened yesterday at Menzgold. Ray, I want to come to you because it's getting a bit frustrating when you realize that at every turn, when we are trying to do our jobs, we tend to come against, opposition like this. You feel your life is in danger. There's a pregnant woman involved. Where's your mind on this?
It's also because, I think, to be fair, this society tolerates things like that. The gentle, expected, orderly conduct of most people fizzles out when they are emotional, when they are feeling that their interest is being attacked in this case. So the journalist, they believe, is the enemy. Not the SEC, not the Bank of Ghana, not the Minerals Commission, not the PMMC. The journalist, they believe, is the enemy because is the person that can be easily attacked. So if SEC officials were coming, they would have come with police and all of the other protection required. The innocent journalist feels that there's no need for that because I'm just going for information. Information you can decide to deny me or he can decide to even tell lies to me, and it might not even be apparently clear just when you are telling me those lies. But the people are so incensed that when you put out information, they believe it influences officialdom to act in ways that they think might not be appropriate. So they vent on the nearest person to them. The problem with that is that that's actually not how evolved people conduct themselves. So you expect that a person who is qualified to work with or at, what they call it, Menzgold, will be properly trained, will be properly tutored, will be his brain screwed on in a way that at least they conduct themselves in a more appropriate way.
Right.
And
But
especially when you are dealing with one grouping, women, two, there's a pregnant one involved. Any conscionable human being would at least be hesitant in engaging these two in the violent, and that's how it is actually, in the violent manner in which they engage themselves. The problem with this is that often it will end with police claiming they would investigate, and it gets not too much being done about it. It's the impunity with which people can get away, because nobody goes to attack somebody at Menzgold for doing their job. So how should the journalists be at the brunt of some other attacks? In any case, the journalism institutions in this country are not at war with Menzgold or any of the institutions related to it. Those who are having problems with Menzgold are the state institutions. I have not heard any official of any of these state institutions being attacked for whichever reason. So at least we should credit those in this profession with the dignity that we do to other people. If not, it will come to a time that they will compel the journalists to also try to defend themselves, which will be very chaotic. And in this year alone, let's count the people. Latif is there. Yes. And it is becoming increasingly the case that
and it will even be unfair if we limit it to journalists from multimedia group here. There are a number of journalists who have been attacked.
And so many of them.
Media Foundation for West Africa has done a study on this and has come up with those numbers.
And if these things were happening in 1979, 81, 82, you would think that maybe an unconstitutional government period or a period of military rule, some of these things can't be tolerated even then. But this is 21st century Ghana.
Ray, I want to do something here. Can we separate, which I think is not out of place? Can we separate the actions of management of Menzgold from the employees and the customers who were there?
See, to be fair, sometimes we can't do this for a simple reason. Who does ultimate responsibility lie with in this matter?
And how did they act? You see,
because why?
Karen says she was met by the manager, even at East Legon. She was told that they will try and assuage the workers. Yeah. She was called inside. They spoke to you.
Yes, they did.
And then you were called by the head office as Jolu to go there. You see, my challenge is that we have dealt with institutions before.
Yeah.
Institutionally, you have a problem. With the individuals as well, you have a problem. Yeah. So, yes, in this case, for me, the way Menzgold can best purge themselves is the action that we see them take.
Yeah.
Against these particular workers. Yes. So they treated Karen well. Kudos to that. I will not close my eyes to that. But you see, what action are you taking against those particular workers?
Are you condoning the act?
That is what will really show that you're condoning.
Yes.
That's what will really show. If we know that specific action, look, last time when this issue of the Nobel crisis came up, the C&J hospital, as of the time that I visited the C&J hospital, there was an investigation. The CEO was able to show me an email sent to the particular nurse who had been visited first by this 72-year-old man who was sent away. The particular nurse had already been taken. When I saw this, remember we came to put out those facts here on the morning show. And that tells you that, look, the institution is acting. You can conveniently separate the institution from the individual. Yeah. Which is why I'm saying that Menzgold can really purge themselves well by deciding to do that.
Within the period, they've issued 3 different statements and explanations and notices and letters. None of them talks about this particular incident. It tells you it's not their priority. And unless we say it the way it ought to be said, if it were their priority, and if people were thinking that women matter, especially pregnant ones who are actually going to give birth to the next generation also matter to you, if they thought that journalism ought to be protected and it has a media institution as part of its conglomerate, the conscionable act is to say that apart from reacting to the main issue, we've heard this has happened. This is what we are doing in the interim to deal with the matter. At least assure the people that you are investigating it. This is how conscionable institutions pursue their actions.
We will be speaking with Josh Quaid today on the Super Morning Show, and we will get those answers. Anymore, let me give you a minute on this before we go ahead with the discussion.
I mean, I'm pretty much with Raymond on this, but the question is, it's about authority, though. I mean, under which authority did these people act, knowing that their jobs would not be at stake? Had they been issued a directive, that perhaps keep journalists away and all of that? That's another question that we have to ask ourselves, because as much as management would, say, oh, it's okay, we'll deal with it, the fact is that how did these people feel that they had enough authority to treat you guys that way? So that's one side of it. The other thing that I would really like to say, I mean, I've been going through messages and stuff from you guys, from the listeners and from the public, and I really want to categorically state that we support Ghanaian businesses. We're not against Ghanaian businesses. The only thing is that we're very cautious. We've just had to pay for what happened with Unibank and Royal Bank and all the other. We were just almost paying for that. And so it would be very irresponsible of us to sit back and watch possibly, and this is a key word, possibly, something like this happen again. Because at the end of the day, I remember when we talked about it the last time, and one of our listeners sent in a text message and said that when the banks went under, the Bank of Ghana has found money and has put it in. So if Menzgold is doing the same thing, what is the problem? If it goes down, the Bank of Ghana will find money and give it to the depositors.
But it's fair to point, is there to point this out that another way of regulating, another action that can be taken by a regulatory authority is to help the organization to regularize its activities.
Which way, and there have been a lot of attempts,
yes,
haven't there?
And there have been a lot of engagement.
Yes.
Between Menzgold, the Bank of Ghana, Menzgold, the SEC. I mean, we are going into all of these issues. I just want to tie a bun on this one quickly. Euma, you want to finish up in the next 30 minutes?
No, I mean, so basically, 30 minutes, really?
Yeah, you'll be so happy, won't you?
Basically, what I'm saying is that when we investigate, when we bring these stories out, it's not to destroy, it's to protect. And let's keep that in mind so that we're not attacking journalists and stuff. And we are trying to bring, the issue to light as clearly, as fairly as possible. So that's my 30 seconds, Daniel.
Thank you, Enima, for sticking to your 30 seconds. Let me just make this point quickly that the Multimedia Group will be taking the appropriate steps to seek redress for this incident. The Multimedia Group will be taking those appropriate steps to seek redress for this incident. Karen, thank you very much for coming on the show to share your story. All the best. And we know you will continue working hard. This will not perturb you in any way.
That's all, Daniel. Thank you.
Of course. It's 21 minutes past 8 on the Super Morning Show. Enjoy 99.7 FM. I am Daniel Dazi. Here, my friend Raymond Aqua, who is offering a consolatory hug to Karen Dodo now. I wish my friends on Facebook could see this every day. And Inimado is here. Malik Abbas Dabo is here. Karen, the joy you have brought to my studio, maybe you should be coming here more often. Don't make your next visit about unfortunate incidents. Your next visit will not be about unfortunate incidents. Anyway, we'll take these important messages. When we come back, the conversation about Menzgold continues. We are working in the lines to get a representative of Menzgold to speak with us immediately after the break. Stay with us. This is the Super Morning Show.
You to first think big, not small. Think of how great we can be when we work together. Together, we can ensure that our hard work will provide a better future. Together, we can provide a foundation for you and your business to succeed, regardless of its size. Together, we can create opportunities for all. Bank with us today and let's journey forward together. Forward together. Cowbank, forward together.
It's time to own a hotel-inspired apartment near Accra Mall and switch on your urban life with a cool price starting from 315,000 Ghana cedis. Yes, you heard me. Choose our market-leading studio, 1, 2, or 3-bedroom apartment from Oasis Park Condominium at Tetekwashi and enjoy urban resort life. For this and more, call Evelyn on 0204 343 011 or Kojo on 0204 343 008. This is another catered development by CPL Developers. CPL Developers, built for life.
The other day, as I was in my kitchen preparing my special jollof made with lily rice for my family, I heard a knock at the door. It was my mechanic. Instead of calling me to pick my car, he bought it himself. I said, "Cho." He said, "F-O." I said, "Take the car back. I will come and pick it myself." As I turned off the fire from under the lily jollof, there was another knock at the door. It was my neighbor. I said, neighbor. He said, "F-O, my dog has jammed your wall again, oh." I said, "Don't be silly. You don't have a dog." My wife and kids came home, and we saw that he enjoyed. Cho, it was my pastor. He said, "Bless you." I said, "Bless you too." He said, "Did he come to church on Saturday?" I said, "Acho, but why are you coming to tell me this on Wednesday?"
Having to fend off visitors at mealtimes because of Lele's tasty aromatic rice? Celebrate every mealtime by sharing with friends and family near or far. Lele, tasty food, happy family.
Acho.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Food and Drugs Authority.
There's a reason everyone talks about togetherness, the strength in numbers, the longevity of community, the success togetherness brings. So it's a good reason that the Ghana Stock Exchange set out to bring companies and investors together to foster business growth and fuel individual wealth creation together. Because when we come together, things work for everyone's good. Raise long-term capital for your business or buy shares on the Ghana Stock Exchange today and see the prosperity it brings to all. Visit us on the 5th and 6th floors, City House, Liberia Road, or call us on 0302-669-908 or 669-935 or visit www.gse.com.gh or talk to a licensed stockbroker for more information. Ghana Stock Exchange, bringing companies and investors together since 1989.
Super Morning Show. Hi!
We are the Yale Whiff and Poops.
And you're listening to the Super Morning Show with Daniel Daze.
Live on Joy 99.7 FM.
It's 26 minutes past 8 on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. We began a discussion about the Menzgold Saga. We started by looking at what happened at the premises of the East Legon branch of Menzgold yesterday. We're going to go into the vexed issues now, the licensing issues, the issues that have to do with engagement of government with Menzgold. A teething question that I keep getting. Really, why has government limited itself to talking and issuing notices? Really, if government has a problem with Menzgold and Menzgold is so illegal, how come the police have not stormed Menzgold now and closed it down? So we'll explore all of these angles, and of course we'll be speaking with representatives of the company itself on the show before the show is over. And remember, later on the show we'll be crossing over to the Accra International Conference Center to join the funeral of Bosumuro Kofi Annan. We will also be playing that documentary that reflects on his life and looks forward to his legacy. Stay with us on the Super Morning Show. Exciting show coming up today. But before anything else, Passion Air has commenced operations in the Ghanaian domestic airline market with 5 flights to Kumasi on Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays, and 4 flights on Tuesday and Wednesday, and 3 flights on Sundays, with flight services soon to Tamale and Takrady. Fly with us and experience the passion of flying with excellent customer service, sufficient legroom and on-time departures. Come on board with amazing fares starting from 250 Ghana cedis one way and 402 Ghana cedis return to Kumasi. Visit us at flypassionair.com or call us on our toll-free 0800 221 221 or visit a travel agency near you for your reservations. You can also book and make online payments with MasterCard, Visa, mobile money, and pay at ADB branches nationwide. Life is nothing without passion. Fly with Passion Air and experience the passion. Passion Air, Akwaba. Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, wishes to remind all withholding tax agents, including VAT withholding agents appointed by the Commissioner General, that withholding taxes must be paid to the Domestic Tax Revenue Division, DTRD, of the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, by the 15th of every month. Withholding taxes must be paid on these due dates this month. It is the 15th of September 2018, but it falls on Saturday. That means that these withholding taxes must be paid at the tax office by 12 noon tomorrow, Friday, 14th September. And all payments should be made with an accompanying schedule in both hard and soft copies indicating gross amount, the tax deducted, and the name or names of taxpayer or taxpayers from whom the taxes are being withheld. VAT withholding agents must submit the VAT withholding returns. If you don't do that, you will attract an interest of 125% of the statutory rate compounded monthly on the outstanding tax. That does not sound good at all. Please pay your withholding tax. You have till tomorrow 12 noon. Now open an ADB account today, send your name and account number to your relations abroad, ask them to use MoneyGram Direct to Account service and receive your money in your account in minutes. With the MoneyGram Direct to Account service, there is no PIN code wahala. For more information, visit our Facebook website or call our hotline 0302 210 210 for more. ADB, truly a quick and more.
I'm a man who drew the Sunday. Sana, Sika, ye mojai. Sika, ye mojapa. Sika, ye mojapa.
Right, that was the legendary Pat Thomas with Sika here Moja. Remodakwa is still here. Malika Bazdabo is here. Enimado is here. We've been joined by George Biafi of the Joy Business Team. Good morning, George.
Hi, Daniel.
Welcome to our team this morning. Taking George away from very a lot of work that he does in the Joy Business room. You should see him banging away at his keyboard. So, George, let me begin with you here. What have we gathered on Menzgold so far?
Well, a lot of things are happening behind the scenes and what we're also getting outside as well. And what Securities and Exchange Commission, which regulates the capital market, for them, from the Securities and Exchange Commission angle, they believe that they've done the work that they have to do. And from their preliminary investigations that they've done, indeed they can establish that what Menzgold is doing, they require a license from the capital market regulator. And they don't have that approval. And that is why, even when you read portions of the letter, they state that even though they are engaging Menzgold for additional information, whether that information comes in or not, they can reach a conclusion that what they are engaging in, it's an illegality, and therefore bring an end to that subsidiary or that service offering that offers a guaranteed return to your client through a product that could be linked to a commodity or what some people might call derivatives. And that is where you're getting from the regulator's angle, because, again, the financial sector in every country is the most regulated, whether you like it or not. If you allow the players to have their way, they will do everything. Interestingly, today is about 10 years since the financial crash. And you look at what happened in there's a bank in US, I've just forgotten the name, that even recently they were caught in trying to come up with products that were similar to what happened 10 years ago. So every bank
in the real estate market?
No, it's a normal full-fledged bank. I've just forgotten. I just bring up on that one, but maybe I remember whilst you go on. So every player in the financial industry looking at pressure from shareholders, pressure from depositors, clients, will always want to go ahead of the regulator.
You know,
Yeah.
Sorry, no, go ahead. Yeah.
You know what's
It's Wells Fargo. The bank is Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo in US. Yeah.
Great. So the pause helped you remember, George, and I'm coming to Ray with this one. The challenge I have is that what George says is very true. The financial sector is heavily regulated. You look at, we are going beyond the Companies Act. We are looking at the banks and specialized
everywhere in
deposit
the world, the
taking.
Dodd-Frank, the Act, even in US, where
and even
everywhere,
in Ghana,
in London, and everywhere, you wouldn't have your way if today Daniel Dadzie wants to operate in the financial space.
And even
therefore,
in Ghana,
we can't claim that when the regulator is being too vigilant on the market, they are stifling creativity or stifling
innovation.
Businessmen that want to be innovative, help people create employment.
But you see, even in Ghana, the complaints are that we don't have enough regulation, looking at the calls for prudential regulation. But really, the question I have here is that for the past 6 or so years, we've been hearing notices, we've been hearing of communiques, we've been seeing people issuing this too. But the concrete action, how are we helping these companies to regularize, if that's the option that we want? Beyond that, because like I said, I've had messages coming in telling me, if this company is illegal, why hasn't the police marched on them?
But we don't live in is it the Banana Republic or is it the Kangaroo State? There are laws. And even if you go through, just a minute, if you go through the Bank of Ghana's own financials for last year, and I hope I got the figure right, where in terms of legal settlements and all, a huge money. So the fact that they have the laws at their disposal, there have been instances where they've rushed to court or they've taken action, they've had X flashed on their spaces, on their face. So you need to ensure that whatever there are processes, even the same Securities and Exchange Commission laws give the regulator that there are laid down procedures you have to go through if you have a problem with a financial institution. You just cannot wake up today and say that because on your suspicion or you think that a company A is operating legally, you go in there and shut down you can't do that.
My challenge is that in May, at a Monetary Policy Committee MPC press conference, the governor, Dr. Ernest Addison, said that they are in talks with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to take action on Menzgold.
Yeah.
Isn't this one of, I know Menzgold is in a unique space, but since when does the Bank of Ghana wait to go and talk with people before taking action?
Well, Daniel, I think the point that George is making is that even if you suspect that the person is engaged in some impropriety, you do not, in a Rambo style, and we have had evidence where we have experiences where people have acted like that, and George is right, they've had rotten eggs thrown to their faces. What you have to do is to follow a certain procedure. You must give them their natural right to be heard. And I think that's what SEC has done. Give them the natural right to be heard. Let them explain. And if you read all the letters that we read on this show, the letters from the Minerals Commission and all of those letters, they had meetings with them so that they can explain what it is that they are doing. And at those meetings, the Minerals Commission then pointed out that September 19 letter we read. The Minerals Commission then points out that, yes, we understand you, but the license that you have cannot be interpreted, no matter how you stretch it, to cover the nature of the business and the model of business that you are running. And to that extent, you may want to get another license that permits you to do what you are doing. But the license that you have cannot serve as a foundational document to legitimize the business that you are running, which is what the SEC said.
You see, my challenge here, and maybe you guys are not getting how I'm communicating it, but you see, my challenge here is that I'm not saying go and catch them because they are wrong. What I'm saying is that act beyond speaking.
But act beyond
whether you are going to,
Daniel,
because you see, what you are telling me, in August 2017, then Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, speaking at the Public Accounts Committee sitting, he mentioned that the company is operating illegally. He referred to the Minerals Commission. So you see, this is information that they have known. Are we going to give them a license to do what they are doing? Is the Securities and Exchange Commission, which in 2017 mentioned that they don't regulate them. You see, at this point, what are our state agencies doing? We can't ask questions of Menzgold. Menzgold is a private company. All I can do is choose whether or not I'm going to invest there. But I can ask the Bank of Ghana, what are we doing beyond speaking? Because we've known this information
But Daniel, again, you realize that from the documents that you have seen and all the rest, there have been some correspondence between these companies and all the rest. And if you look at the organogram of Menzgold, they are not just in that returns to clients or this gold collectible business. They are doing a lot of things. So
they
if you have
various regulatory
if you have a
agencies.
problem with a service offering, then you have to just deal with that one. So it's not just about going in there and closing a company because a regulator believes that. You need to establish beyond reasonable doubt that, yes, what these guys are doing is wrong. Then I kickstart the process. First, try, when you have a problem with a financial institution, first you stop that business from taking on fresh code business. Then you try and contain whatever that is available. Because, again, if what we are hearing is true, this company is sitting on investments, 7 million and all the rest, even in dollars. So in terms of the connection and the contagion effect, how do you ensure that if the regulator believes that there's a problem with company Z, kickstart the process? I bet that the SEC action didn't start today. I remember when I engaged them, they told me that, George, we are investigating Menzgold. And when we get to that point where the process has to start by warning, going in, we are going to do it. So I think people should appreciate that take the sentiment, the emotions away,
Daniel,
and
you
let's
have to-
deal with the process and ensure that the right things are being done. Nobody wants to collapse any business. It's just ensuring that the right things are
You see,
done.
you guys don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, again, and I've said this twice, I'm not saying that they should go and close it down per se.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that the action that we are seeing now, and because Raymond is about to go through some of these, we are privy to some of the actions that the Bank of Ghana has taken so far. The point is that we have gotten to a point where 3 clear laws have been stated. We know even that the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Minerals Commission, and the Bank of Ghana have met on Menzgold. It was in that letter that SEC sent to the Minerals Commission. It was attached to that publication on Menzgold itself yesterday. It was released yesterday. Okay, and so we know that these organizations have been talking. We know that in other jurisdictions, when certain companies straddle different regulatory agencies, these regulatory agencies sit and they decide. The point is that beyond the speech, because you see, for instance, this September 19, 2017 letter was sent. Between September 19, 2017 and today, what has Minerals Commission done specifically? Have they endeavored to license them? Have they endeavored to speak with them to change their business model? Have they endeavored to take any other action? That is the challenge. Anyway, Raymond, I need to bring Raymond in on this
But
one.
Daniel, just one quick one, that at least that if you follow the process, there's been some engagement itself between the company in question and the regulators. And again, what we've picked up is that, okay, if the regulator has a problem with a service offering, then maybe let's try and stop that service offering. So behind the scenes, we know that there have been some engagement with the company in question, Menzgold, and what they are doing to ensure that they comply with all the regulatory directives and ensure that if the regulator says that this is what we should do, they are complying with that. And there have been several engagements that we understand that has been going on between these two entities to ensure that if this is what the regulator wants, they are going to do it.
Okay, let me come to you, Raymond.
Yes. So, Daniel, this is actually the relationship between the Bank of Ghana and Menzgold. Now, it all started on October 28, 2014, when the Bank of Ghana carried out a special exercise within the central region, covering all of the district capitals. Men's Bank, that's the first time they actually came into contact with them, was found operating a microfinance in Kaswa under the guise of gold trading and the illegal usage of the name bank. Now, the Bank of Ghana on March 11, 2015, issued a notice with a number specifically, I can quote you that, publishing a list of unlicensed entities operating illegally, including Men's Bank. And that was the first name that Menzgold used, actually. Men's Bank then wrote to the bank threatening to sue the bank. The bank provided enough evidence that they were engaged in microfinance activities. Based on that, Men's Bank withdrew the suit and changed its name to Men's Bank. This time around with a C, not a K, as in the bank B-A-N-K. This time around they use C. Men's Bank Ghana Company Limited. Now, the bank subsequently on April 13, 2016, issued a notice to warn the general public against the deposit-taking operations of Men's Bank, still with a C. On July 22, 2017, the Bank of Ghana issued a letter to Men's Bank against its unlicensed deposit-taking activity. The company then responded on August 3, 2016, and claimed that they were not engaging in deposit-taking activities. Now, the Bank of Ghana, in this case, on August 2, 2016, invited the management of Menzbank Ghana Limited to a meeting on its unlicensed deposit taking activity and the use of the word bank, contrary to the banking laws. Now, 2 weeks later, on August 16, 2016, the bank then contacted Minerals Commission and the Precious Minerals Marketing Company on the license status of Menzbank Ghana Limited. Minerals Commission confirmed the company had a license to purchase and export gold. However, its license with PMMC had expired. Now, due to persistent complaints from the general public on the operations of the company, the bank held a follow-up meeting on February 13, 2017 with representatives of the company. Subsequently, on July 11, 2017, the bank sought approval from management to issue a notice warning the general public against the unlicensed deposit-taking activities of the company. This approval was referred to the Secretary's Department to issue a caution letter to the company. On July 19, the caution letter was issued to the company to desist from taking further deposits. Menzbank then changed its name to Menzgold. This is the latest happened in July 19. From Menzbank in K to Menzbank in C to Menzgold. Now, it also informed the bank of its subsidiary by name Brew Marketing Limited, where clients were directed to go and purchase the gold and deposit it with Menzbank for dividend. Now, on July 2014-2017, management of Bank of Ghana was informed of the current developments with Menzgold, and some of them include on July 2017, the bank carried out what's called mystery shopping by enrolling on the company's gold vault market product as follows. Amount purchased 4,000 Ghana cedis, 10 at 3 months, interest, dividend 7% per month, commission paid 200 cedis. No gold was cited throughout the transaction. Menzgold collected the cash with the explanation that they would purchase the gold from Brew Consort on behalf of the mystery shoppers. A second mystery shopping was conducted on October 24, 2017, with the details as I explained to you in this case. On maturity, the mystery shoppers were given a piece of gold. Now, this was followed with a third mystery shopping on May 18, 2018, and the details are also there, similar to the first one I gave you. This time around, the mystery shoppers were directed to purchase the gold from Brew Marketing Consort and deposit the gold in its vault where the trading began. Now, on May 21, 2018, the Bank of Ghana wrote to its legal department with the evidence to consider the option of legal action on the deposit-taking activity of the company. In June 2018, the bank conducted a joint visit with Minerals Commission to licensed gold traders and refineries in Accra to understand the nature of their operations. The team established that all the companies engaged in smelting and exporting of gold, with the exception of Menzgold, that is engaged in the solicitation of deposits from the general public with interest rate between 7 to 10% per month, which is given to customers based on the quantity of gold they purchased. And one other point here is that the basis of the Bank of Ghana's engagement with Menzgold was to confront them with the disguise of deposit-taking activity, which creates money, contrary to Section 6.1 of the Banks and Specialized Deposit-Taking Institutions Act. And the Bank of Ghana actually saw, in this case, the license to purchase and export gold issued to Menzgold, then by the name Menzbank, by the Minerals Commission for a 3-year period. Under Clause 1, Menzgold was then authorized to purchase gold locally and to export same. It has absolutely no authorization to engage in any kind of dealing in gold, including selling gold locally.
Okay, so it has taken us through what investigations the Bank of Ghana has carried out. They've gone to buy gold themselves. They've gone to invest in a company themselves. They have carried out business with Menzgold and the mystery shoppers, trying to understand how it works. And then through that process, they have established what exactly is wrong with the operations. Again, it comes back to those 3 laws: the Specialized Deposit Taking Institutions Act, Banks and Specialized Deposit Taking Institutions Act. There's also the Minerals and Mining Act, and then there's the Securities Industries Act. So yes, some work has been done, but then it ends at that stalemate. Investigations must be carried out before further action.
Daniel, let's canvass this. Why are we having all of this discussion? We are having this discussion because Menzgold is engaged in a business model that the regulators, various regulators, the Bank of Ghana, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Minerals Commission, the Precious Minerals Institution, these 4 institutions all say that the model of business that Menzgold is running is not licensed by them. It is the reason we're having this discussion. And I am emphasizing this point because, as Karim pointed out, when we're doing this story, there are those who believe that we have some dishonorable objective for which we are doing this story. And it is rather unfortunate that anyone will harbor any such thought that we have an agenda to bring down a person's business, when all we have done is read to you letters by state agencies that point out that a particular institution is engaged in a conduct that it is not permitted to engage in. Why do you not go and ask the institution why it is engaged in this conduct? Why are you taking issues with me, the one reading to you a letter from the state agency raising the question? And Raymond just read the portion of the agreement with the government of Ghana. And this agreement was signed between Menzgold and the Minister for Natural Resources, Lands and Natural Resources. This would be Neo Samuels at the time. And the authorization was clear. Menzgold was authorized to purchase gold locally from any person holding a small-scale mining license at the company's registered small-scale license and export same in accordance with the terms of the agreement. This is all that the license permitted Menzgold to do.
Malik, let me step into this quickly. We understand our reporter Ebenezer Sabote is currently under attack at Menzgold. Let's talk to him now. Eben.
Hi, Daniel.
Yes, what's happening? Which branch of Menzgold are you at currently, and what's happening there?
At the Jolu branch. We were actually moving to the East Legon branch when we got here, and we saw some of the customers here, numbered in about the hundreds. So we decided to observe what is going on. Just upon we arrived at the place, the customers just came upon us, but the police came in to control the situation. So we're not hurt, I could say.
It's good to know that you were not hurt. Are you still there now?
I'm moving from there. Actually, the police gave us an escort for about like 200 meters away. We called our driver and then quickly we are. So we are out of the premises now, but we are still around Jolu.
That's great. We are very grateful to the police. Eben, make sure that you are safe and then nothing untoward happens to you. But quickly, when you got there and you observed, what exactly did you see? Were you able to speak to anyone?
No. You could see furious faces. I mean, people coming in so angrily to just take their money. And what they are saying is that the media is causing the media is causing this because they have millions of CDs in there that they've invested. And if there's an issue, they don't see why. So they are putting the blame on the media, which is, I mean, irresponsible. But I can understand. Even one guy who was coming in to take his money, they suspected him to be a media guy. They spoiled his car.
Right.
So, I mean, in confrontation with the police so that they get it done, fixed for him.
Eben Sabote, thank you very much. Keep yourself safe, Eben, wherever you go. I'm coming straight to Eben's boss in the Joy Business Room.
But I think it's unfortunate. And you see, all these initial statements on Menzgold came from the regulator. And even it's not wrong if it came even from a media house with all the accusations out there. So it wasn't a station, B or Joy FM, that woke up one day and said that everybody in the public don't deal with Menzgold. It came from the Bank of Ghana. We are doing our work as media men that any institution out there, you look at development in the financial space, DKM, R5 and all the rest. Sorry, I hope I got that.
Piram
and all the rest.
R5, DKM.
So if these things have happened in the past and the regulator has reasons to suspect that looking at where this institution is going, it looks like it's on that path. I mean, we are reporting events. We're supposed to go in and dig. We've been very firm, balanced on these issues. Getting the side of the company as well. What do you say about this? Yes, we understand that. Yes, they have a side to tell to the state. We've done all those things. So I think for me, it's unfortunate for anybody to put out or try to put out this posture out there that we are out to collapse one person's business because we didn't start this whole thing. And again, any media house where thought when these things are happening, we want to follow up, get all the sides to the issue, and tell the story.
So, Daniel, I was taking you through the
Malik,
trajectory.
in a minute, please.
Yes.
I need to move on. So
taking you through the trajectory of how these things pan out. And I'm saying this is the license. These are letters from the Minerals Commission, from the PMMC, from SEC, saying the license permitted you to buy gold, and even that the license was clear. Buy the gold from small scale, from persons holding small scale mining license. That is what the license permitted you to do. But what is Menzgold doing, which is now the subject of discussion? Menzgold, whilst it insists that it does not take deposit, and if you go to the Brew Marketing Consult, you will see signage in the building that says we do not take deposit here. Nonetheless, Menzgold invites the general public to go to its sister company, Brew Marketing, buy gold, deposit the gold with Menzgold, and then take a return monthly. The return is fixed, and the quantum of return you get is dependent on how much gold you purchase. If you purchase more than 24,000 Ghana cedis, you get 10% monthly. So, assuming you were rich like George Weafe and you went and you put in 100,000 Ghana cedis, that's over and above the 24,000. George will be entitled to 10% of the 100,000, which is 10,000 Ghana cedis every month. If George put in this for 12 months, he will get that every month until maturation. And at maturation, he's entitled to go and take the entire 100,000 that he put in, or he will roll it over for another 12 months, and then he will keep taking his 10,000 every month. And when George buys gold worth 100,000, the business model provides that he should pay 5% of the 100,000, which is 5,000 Ghana cedis, as commission to the company. This is to Menzgold. And he should give the gold that he has purchased from Brew Marketing, together with the receipt and the 5%, which is the 5,000, and then give to Menzgold. And then every month, he will go and take this monthly return of 10%. At various times, Menzgold has run promotions that allow people to actually get 12% commission. And 2 months ago, they ran what they call 2 kilos. And by 2 kilos, you bought gold and you were allowed to spend 400,000. If you spend 400,000, Menzgold or Brew Marketing will give you gold worth 500,000 Ghana cedis plus. You would pay 5% of the 500,000 as commission, even though the actual amount that you were paying to Brew Marketing was 400,000. Brew Marketing would give you gold worth 500,000. And if you sent this gold to Menzgold, and you could do this for only 6 months, you were entitled to 12% of the 500,000 every month for the 6 months. This is how the business model runs.
Okay.
The Securities and Exchange Commission is saying this business, as far as they are concerned, is securities and they should license it. Of course, we read a letter from Menzgold's lawyers yesterday saying that their business does not fall within the remit of the Securities and Exchange Commission.
But they have now suspended their services.
But Malik, another thing
because of
also
actions by
interesting is that
SEC.
if you also engage the other party, you don't know whether whatever the regulator is communicating to us, they've also communicated to them. Because again, you get the thing from Menzgold that, okay, we are not aware. Tell us what we are doing that it is wrong, and therefore we will comply with what the regulator is saying.
Malik, you want to learn?
It's interesting that in one breath, there's too much information out there.
I think if you
and whether
read,
the parties involved
if you read the
are also
lawyers,
sharing.
if you read the lawyers' letters, you are not left in any doubt that the regulators are communicating something to us that they are not communicating to Menzgold. I don't get that sense. But I'm saying that the Minerals Commission, and Daniel is right earlier, I sense that you were saying the regulators themselves must take a certain responsibility, that you can't just write letters and then go to bed and do nothing. If the Minerals Commission wrote a letter dated September 19, 2017, giving specific directives to Menzgold to seize this component of their business. And it is important to emphasize the differences, that Menzgold is still licensed to buy gold from persons holding small-scale mining licenses and export it.
Saying as well.
It is still permitted to do that because it is licensed to so do. What it is not licensed to do is the matter that we are discussing, which is asking the people to buy the gold and deposit to the 2 year. You trade it and you give them a certain return, a monthly dividend. The other fundamental point we must point out is that the license also permitted Menzgold to appoint gold buying agents. Now, you would say that Brew Marketing is a gold buying agent for Menzgold, but it is not, because the license said if Menzgold was minded and it appointed a gold buying agent, that gold buying agent will be licensed by the Minerals Commission.
Right.
But Brew Marketing is not licensed by the Minerals Commission. The individuals who are going to buy gold from Brew Marketing, by law, ought to be licensed in order for them to be able to purchase the gold, but they are not so licensed.
Yeah.
It's just any ordinary citizen walking in Brew Marketing and buying gold and sending same to Menzgold. These are the matters that we put in the public domain. Nobody has an agenda to collapse or undermine Menzgold business. There is no reason for anybody to harbor any such agenda.
I haven't had anybody at all.
And nobody has defamed Menzgold by peddling untruths. What we have done is put out the facts, and then you can make a judgment on the basis of those facts.
Yeah, thank you very much, Malik Abbas Dabo. Thank you very much, George Biafe. My friends Raymond Akwe and Enimo Enimado were here earlier. We'll take these important messages, and when we come back, we'll bring you that feature on the life of Kofi Annan. Stay with us.
The 16th International Building Construction and Property Exhibition 2018 is here again. Ghana's most comprehensive exhibition featuring